Okay, well, welcome to this week's edition of Professional Insights, brought to you by the National Referral Network and brought to you also by two incredibly charming guys, both of whom are named Mike Clark. Hello, Mike Clark, number two. How are you?
Good morning, Mike Clark.
We normally have somebody we speak with on these live streams, but our guest this morning fell ill. We wish him well. We think he's going to be okay, but he was unable to join us this morning. So it's just Mike and I talking this morning about the referral network itself, and really this idea of this rising tide raises all ships. This idea that professionals linking arms with one another, provided we're linking arms with the right people, how that's a good idea and how that can benefit everyone. So, Mike, I don't know, where do we start with this?
So, Mike, I think it's a valid starting point to get into why you and your partner Rick Watson started the referral network. Kind of give us a history of where you guys started, how you guys connected, and why you even started the National Referral Network.
Well, that's a great question. It really was something organic. For the longest time, the way that we sought to differentiate ourselves from other advisors is to solve as many problems for our clients as we could, whether or not we could do it under our roof or not. So for years, we've been outsourcing to trust attorneys, to CPAs, other types of tax preparers, other types of attorneys, other professionals in general, to try to solve every problem we can. We've always sought to be as valuable to our clients as we possibly could. And as a result, our clients have been with us a long time, and we believe that this is something that's brought that about. But we've had bad experiences as well, and we've referred out to professionals who didn't live up to their end of the deal, and whenever that happened, it was a reflection on us. And that happened so many times that we decided, well, we have to really hold everyone to a common standard of client service and care. As we thought more about it, we thought, well, why don't we just put everybody in this one place? And that became the referral network. We introduced something akin to a client bill of rights. Sometimes you go in hospitals and you see patient's bill of rights, but as we came up with something that was somewhat similar, and just said everybody that is in the network has to adhere to the standard. It's nothing crazy. It's, return phone calls and emails within 48 hours.
Which is a challenge these days sometimes to get somebody to return a phone call.
Believe it or not, and that always sort of blew my mind. I mean, you're too busy that you can't return an email in 48 hours. I just don't get that. But nonetheless, we've had more than a few experiences where that didn't happen. So we introduced this standard, be transparent in your fees and all kinds of other things. And we started this network almost a couple of years ago now, and now I believe we have approaching 200 members in it. Not sure, but it's growing. And what we have found is that as professionals get to know one another, as we get to know them, we're referring out to them. They're actually referring to each other, and they're giving each other resources they need to solve other problems for their clients. And the whole thing's just kind of snowballed a little bit. So we're really excited about it. And it's just the idea of everyone banding together for the sake of just being better.
Now, part of the being in the National Referral Network and as part of that network, right? There's one of the things that you guys really put together in terms of systems and processes, Mike, is this idea of properly referring clients or properly referring each other. You and I have both experienced, and I know a lot of people have experienced this, or even clients themselves. They get a random phone call from a random professional and they say, oh, so-and-so told me to call you.
Right.
So talk a little bit about the proper way to refer not only a client to somebody in the National Referral Network, but also the proper way to refer another professional partner.
Well, what I've always done, whenever I've introduced any of my clients to anybody that I work with, I've always set them up to win. And what I mean by that is I want the client to be receptive to this person.
Yep.
So what I always say is I want to refer you to so-and-so, and I'll say a little bit about them. I want to refer you to them because they're really, really great in this area. I've worked with them before. They're super reliable, and I'm going to be there as well. And usually, I will for the initial introduction, I will be there to kind of do the handoff properly. So it really is about. It's sort of like this set spike. If you follow volleyball, it really is that. I need to be able to create receptivity in my clients so that when they do talk to that person, there's an openness there, because it's in my client's best interest that occur.
Yep. Now, obviously, if you go to the nrnamerica.com, there are certainly levels of membership and engagement within the professionals that are in the National Referral Network. Mike, what are we looking for? Like, what makes a good candidate for the National Referral Network, and like who should even look into being a part of it?
Well, there's several levels. I mean, if you're somebody who just wants to be searchable on a registry, then that's fine. You can be
Yep.
that. I think what we work best with and what we tend to look for are those professionals that want to take their business somewhere, whether it's they want to grow their business, whether or not they may want to manage growth a little better. There are actually some professionals we talk to, they're not looking for additional clients. They're actually maxed out, but they're looking to manage the growth. Okay.
Yep.
But I think the best candidates are the ones who are looking to get something done. They want something out of what the network has to offer, and they want to solve a problem, whether it's growth, or whether it's referral flow, whether it's I've got too much on my plate. I need to manage it a little better. They have to want something. Those are the best candidates.
Now, Mike, you mentioned a little bit ago about the concept of just creating a repository of professionals,
Mhm.
and it certainly has suited all of us the last couple of years. Moving forward, though, with the new economy and how things are going, like, what does a professional need to do in order to sustain growth, and how does the National Referral Network plug into that?
Well, you and I read a lot how
Yeah.
clients want to consolidate more and more services with fewer and fewer advisors, and that's a
Yep.
trend that I don't think is going away. So it doesn't matter what kind of professional you are, whether you're an attorney, a tax preparer, whether you're a financial advisor, a real estate agent, whatever. The more you can do for your clients, the more they like you. And I think clients are, again, that's a trend that we're seeing now. And yet, if you are somebody who needs to build out additional services and offer more, it can be expensive if you build them out yourself. So the idea of the referral network is you don't have to do that. You have those additional services that are available to you by extension, simply by plugging into the network. Our job is to just help you make the most of it. Again, and the best candidates are those they want to get something out of it because they see that it's going to benefit their business in some way.
And, and Mike, there's parallel tracks here. You're the co-founder of Protection Point Advisors, and also, quite frankly, the National Referral Network.
Mhm.
And we've got this grand umbrella of the National Referral Network, but how does Protection Point Advisors play into helping professionals and clients kind of go to the next level in terms of not only their practice, but their financial life?
Well, that's kind of two questions, but I'll try to
Yeah.
take them in order. Well, as far as professionals, so we work directly with professionals that want to use PPA, Protection Point Advisors, as another dimension of their business, and we will work with them directly and show them and coach them really on how to make the most out of that relationship. So we are, in effect, there are certain members of the network that we are kind of in business with. Then there are those that we're going to coach and plug into different resources so they can get what they want to get out of the network. So really, you can kind of go down two tracks. I mean, if you just want to, again, it really just depends upon what you want. Our job is just to understand that. Where do you want to take your business, and how can we use these resources to help you get where you want to go? But
And what
yes,
are
we
some,
do.
what are
Yeah.
some of those resources, Mike?
Well, for example, let's say you're a trust attorney, and you need to know somebody who does, let's say, tax resolution, and you
Mhm.
don't have somebody you trust. We can plug you into somebody in the network. I think one of the things that you hear a lot is student debt counseling. How do I get out from under? Or how do I manage student debt? We have somebody who in the network who does that. A couple of people, as a matter of fact. It could be education planning. It could be I have a mountain of unsecured debt and I need to get on the right road there. It could be a whole host of things. But the idea is that you can reliably just say, I want you to talk to this person. They're part of a network that I'm involved with, and they're going to do right by you.
Gotcha. And I know that protection point, and I don't want to get off sidetrack from the National Referral Network, but
Mhm.
I think it's
Yeah.
pretty key for not only professionals but for clients themselves. Talk a little bit about the education that Protection Point does for clients as Protection Point, but also offers that to professionals within the network.
Well, we live in an era where content is king, right? I mean, this live stream is it speaks to that.
Yeah.
I I mean, for a long time, we've been educating small populations of people. Well, now that's morphed into educating larger populations of people because we live in a virtual world now. So we hold at Protection Point at least 2 educational programs per month. So we have this whole educational library that's available to clients, really, so they can educate themselves at a pace where
Yeah.
they actually understand what they're listening to and what they're viewing. That really was the key. Oftentimes, when you meet with somebody of our persuasion, they might talk in terms that you don't necessarily understand because you're not terribly familiar with them, but you still might nod your head because nobody likes to appear that they don't know what's being said or being spoken about. So the result is oftentimes you leave those interactions not really taking away very much. So the educational program, such as it is for us, allows people to digest it at their own pace and actually become more financially literate along the way, which is one of our goals. As far as professionals in NRN, really, the more that we talk to our partners, other network members, about what they do and things that other professionals should be watching out for, that's its own educational track as well. And we have a library available to those people as well. So if you, for example, we've talked about business succession planning in the
Yep.
past, and if you're somebody who wants to know how I have how would I approach that, or I have a client that needs to approach that, whatever information you can get, it's we're building a library so it becomes the resource that allows for that.
Yeah, and that's part of why you and I decided to do these live streams, right?
Mhm.
So we can highlight some of these professionals. And at the end of the day, I think it comes down to having clients ask better questions
Right.
of their professionals. And if those professionals are not getting them where they need to be, whether
Mhm.
personal, business, or whatever, there's resources out there to get those questions answered.
Right.
And Mike and I hope that this is part of that process for anybody who's listening or just happen to come across. We were on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all the networks.
Mhm.
But with that, Mike, I certainly appreciate it. I know our guest was unable to be here, but I certainly appreciate you being here. Any final thoughts on on
N-
anything in general, my friend?
No, no, no final thoughts really. Just we're going to continue to do this, and next week we will have a professional. Who do we have next week? By the way, Mike, do we know?
Actually, yep, Stuart Guthrie.
Oh, okay. Oh, so we have a business broker on next week. Somebody is going to talk
Yep.
about business valuations. Uh, yeah, that sounds great. So yeah, we are excited. We're just excited regarding what these other professionals are going to share with us.
Yep. And we're here every Tuesday morning, a little bit late this morning, but certainly
Mm.
apologize. This will go up on YouTube this afternoon. Other than that, Mike, thank you so much for actually
Thank you.
all that you guys do.
Yeah,
And
thanks
other than
everybody.
that, we'll
Check
see
out
you
the
next week.
referral network. If you have any questions, click on that. Click on that link; it'll allow you to find out about it. you can reach directly out to us, and we're happy to just walk you through its benefits and what have you. And you can see for yourself where it might apply for you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.